Hey guys, Coach Warren back here for a little more smash this week. What you're going to need today is a roller. Hopefully you could get your hands on one of these before today's class. What we're going to be working on is some hamstrings, some glutes, quads, and maybe up until lats if we have some time. So some big muscle groups. Not going to be using the ball today. Let's get right into it. All right, so let's start with the hamstrings. You can also use the roller to get your calves as well, but we already kind of covered that in another video. So we're gonna skip the calves, skip behind the knee because that's where all those tendons are. We want to get right into the muscle right away. So we're gonna be starting a little bit past behind the knee, and you're just gonna put it underneath the leg. You can kind of cross your legs here. You can also, if it's too intense or it feels like it's too painful, you can put a foot down and just take off some of the weight out of the hamstring. So if you want, usually with the hamstring, I like to put a little more weight on it just because it's such a big muscle, and can also adjust the weight with just how much I'm pressing down with the heel and how much I'm lifting my butt off here. So kind of the same thing that we've been doing before, nice and slow rolling. We're gonna find a tight spot and try and relax around that spot. So, I don't know about you guys, but I've been doing a lot more running than lifting these days. So the hamstrings are getting a little bit tight for me. So finding a spot, letting that muscle kind of relax around the roller, and then slowly moving up the hamstring. 1 or 2 inches at a time. And same thing, we kind of want to change that angle of where that roller's pressing on. So I'll find that tight spot. Socks are kind of clean. And then I'll roll to on that side of the hamstring, let it relax, and then I'll tilt my leg that way. Let it relax. And then move up the back of the leg a little more each time. So working all the way up, really letting those tight spots work themselves out. Putting as much weight as you can handle. Another thing you can do that'll actually help you get a little deeper, a little quicker, is you can actually flex that hamstring for about 5 seconds and then relax. And then that roller will actually go a little deeper into the muscle as it relaxes after flexing it. So flex it for 5 seconds, 3, 4, 5, and relax the hamstring. You should feel it get a little bit deeper after you do that. Okay, so working our way up, I'm about mid hamstring here. So I'm gonna do that same thing, flex for 5 seconds, and relax. Feels like it didn't really release, maybe do it again, just to really get nice and deep into that roller, into that muscle. Okay. Slowly working our way up here. All right, it's not feeling too tight up here. Feeling pretty good for me. If it's tight for you guys, take a little extra time on there. You can always pause the video. So, well, right at the top, a little bit tight. Same thing, flex for 5 seconds, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Okay. So starting to hit the glute. So before we get into the glute, we're just gonna switch sides. So I did the right leg, gonna go into the left leg now. Same thing. I'm gonna do that flexing and relaxing the whole way up now. That's helping me get a little deeper. My hamstring was kind of fighting it before I was doing that. Let's get back. Same thing, flexing, flexing. Just really try and straighten that knee and then relax. There you go. And relax. So if you have been running like me, you should be feeling some tightness, or you should be feeling your hamstrings. If not, something's probably wrong with your gait. You want to make sure that you're pulling and pushing with that leg. So in running, you always want to be leaning a little bit forward. You don't want to be landing with your foot too far forward and putting on the brakes each time you take a stride. So if you are getting back into running and you're having some knee issues, make sure you're rolling everything out. Make sure you're doing that foot rolling, calf rolling, all that kind of stuff. You shouldn't be having too many knee issues. It actually can be good for your knees if you're running properly, just strengthening all the muscles around. If you are having issues, take a look at your run. You actually want to be landing more forward in your foot. Don't want to be hitting that heel and then going all the way through. Can put a lot of, impact through your whole leg if you're striking that heel really hard on the ground. So one day, if you're not planning a long run, try changing your gait a little bit by landing on the mid to ball of your foot and see how it feels. It's going to be weird to switch your run up, but if you're doing that, your foot will be landing underneath you, and then you'll be pulling up with your hamstring. All right, so let's finishing off with these hamstrings here. So that feels pretty good. Nice and loose, feeling pretty good. I just went for a run and they were feeling a little tight, but they're feeling pretty good right now. So we're gonna move to the glutes. So sitting right on top of it, I always like to lean a little bit to that side that we're rolling. That just gets a little more targeted on that right glute for me. So I'm leaning a little bit right here. So slowly, just kind of slowly moving through just to find that first tight spot. And same thing, you can do that flex of the glute and relax, and that'll get a lot deeper. That's a really good technique for hitting the glutes here. So flex and relax, and then move up an inch or two, find another tight spot, do the exact same thing. Flex, 3 to 5 seconds, relax. Awesome. All right, so now we're starting to get up a little bit higher in the glute. Once we do that, I actually like to put that right foot up on the left knee, and that opens up the glute a little more. And you can get into the piriformis here. You can even lean a little bit more over, and you'll feel it. If you haven't done a lot of this, it's going to be tight here, and it'll feel really good. So I'm going to try and flex the piriformis. Yeah, there we go. 3, 4, 5, and relax. And slowly moving up. Can keep leaning. Just want to make sure you're not starting to hit your tailbone here. That's why this lean's a little more important now that we're moving up the glute. We find a really tight spot like I just did. I'm going to spend a little bit longer, so like do a couple flex and relax here and move through. Okay. Yeah, really tight. So you can really feel it roll into those tight spots, and try and put as much weight as you can on there. Like it's going to be pretty intense in some spots for you, but just do as much as you can handle, and it'll depend on your roller, just the size, what it's made out of. This one's a little more aggressive than a lot of the ones you might see online because it's a little bit smaller. The ones online might be a little like about that big. They might be made out of foam. Whatever you can handle, it doesn't matter if you have this small one or not. I just prefer this size. So we're going to switch sides here. Start at the bottom of the glute, right carrying on from where we finished off the hamstring. And find that first tight spot and try and flex. And then relax. Roll up. Find that next one. You can also play with the rotation to find another tight spot. So flex. Relax. Flex. And relax. Okay, so now I'm getting up high enough where I'm going to put that left leg up now. And relax. Okay, starting to get into the really tight spot for me, which is usually the piriformis. So if you ever had any sciatic pain, could be stemming from the piriformis being maybe too tight from sitting all the time or shortened from sitting all the time. This is a good one to do if you've had that pain before. Really hard to flex that specific muscle. If you can figure it out though, give it a shot. And you can get really deep into that muscle, stretch it out, giving it some love. All right, almost starting to hit the pelvis here in the back. See if I tilt side to side, if I missed anything. It's feeling pretty good. All right, we're gonna move on to quads now. Flipping over. So we're gonna do one quad at a time just because this roller's so short, I can't do both. So I'm gonna just start with the right side again. And I'm actually gonna roll down. So I'm gonna roll starting at the hip down the quad. Out of just kind of self-preference, that's the way I like to do it. So I'm gonna start right up near the hip. I don't know if you can see it, that's an angle. So start up nice near the hip. And same thing, quad's gonna be really easy to flex here. Same thing, straighten that leg and really try and flex that quad. Flex and relax. The same thing here, tilting side to side. Let's try and get the inside. The inside can be a little tough to get. We'll do a stretch afterwards too to get those adductors. I always forget if it's the abductor or the adductor, but that's the adductor. We're gonna try and get those stretched out as well if we miss anything with the rolling, which I find it pretty hard to roll the inside of the leg. So outside's a lot easier, just rotating out. Easy to rotate that way. Quads are feeling pretty good. Not feeling too tight for me, but obviously for you, if they're feeling tight, take that extra time on the quads here. Just putting as much pressure down through that roller as you can. So I'm rolling an inch down, an inch or two down, and then I'm rotating back and forth, trying to find any tight areas that I need to work on. Okay, found a really tight one. Got to be careful, don't go all the way on the side. I'm not trying to roll the IT band. Again, another tendon that you're not really going to stretch and get much out of rolling directly on. So we want to avoid rolling. So you don't want to be perpendicular on your roller. It's going to be really painful. You're not going to get much benefit out of that. Okay, slowly moving down. Right now it's starting to get a little bit tighter here for me. So flex, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. And try and let it sink for 5, 10 seconds. Especially if it's feeling tight there. All right, starting to get closer to the knee. Flex, it's a really tight spot there. And relax. And try and relax around that roller. Check the inside a little bit. Inside's good. All right, let's switch sides. Again, let's start up near the hip here and then work our way down. So right in the hip, you can also roll in the hip. You can get your hip flexor if you're pretty good at finding it. You almost have to use the edge of the roller, so it can be tough. I actually like the ball a lot more for getting in to the psoas, but use what you got, I guess, right? Okay. So flex and relax. Hinge up, flex and relax. Checking inside, outside. Keep moving. Try and get a decent view of it. You'll start to get the idea here. You can follow along, but really it's more personal for you. So whatever's tight, you may be really tight up here. Spend a little more time up here. I'm finding I'm a lot tighter down low, actually, so I'm gonna skip some of these areas that maybe don't need it as much, or at least I'm not gonna take as long on them. Flex and relax. So that didn't feel too tight until I actually did that, and now that I'm relaxing, I can feel it's really tight there. So flex and relax. Oh, Jesus. Okay, keep going. Flex and relax. Okay, making some progress here. Flex, getting really close to the knee. This might be the last place I'm gonna do. Relax. So, and relax. There's a lot of weight on it now. It's getting down there. So that's about as much as I can handle with the quads. Feels pretty good though. They're feeling good. Try not to be too aggressive if it's starting to hurt a lot, or it hurts after you went maybe a little too deep, too aggressive. I would start with a less aggressive roller if you're pretty new to this. And then if you have the option, obviously moving down to a little more smaller diameter roller, which is gonna be in turn a little more aggressive, getting into those muscles deeper. So like I mentioned before, inside the hamstrings, or those adductors, are kind of hard to stretch, or at least hard to roll, I mean. So we're gonna add a stretch in here, a really good stretch. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have one leg turned out about 45 degrees. This knee maybe turned a little bit, or just turned out. So maybe 90 degrees or a little bit off to that side. So we're gonna lean forward into this position. You may actually feel a stretch in the calves here if your calves are stiff too. So we're not gonna hold this stretch for too long. I'm gonna push yourself, see how far I can get. I can really feel it here now. Awesome adductor stretch. Back out, so 10, maybe hold it for 10 seconds. Let's go. Maybe 5 reps of 10 seconds. Back out. Now really try and drive that knee forward without letting that heel lift up. Letting the whole hip open up side to side here. Okay, we'll switch sides. So again, this knee about 90 degrees, this leg's about 45 degrees, and just pushing into that position. First one, I'm just gonna be a little bit shorter because it's feeling pretty tight there. Back. Make sure this heel stays down. That knee's tracking with that pinky toe. See if you can get a little bit further each time. Okay, let's go 2 more on this side. I'm feeling a little bit tighter on this side for whatever reason. So this is a really good stretch to do before squatting as well. Opening up the hips, getting that calf ready for dorsiflexion here. So the more aggressive that dorsiflexion can be, the more upright our chest can be when we squat. So there we have it. Got some rolling on the hamstrings, on the glutes, quads, and then stretch those adductors as well. Thanks guys for watching. We'll be back next week, and then maybe we'll actually get to the lats and a few other things, maybe some forearm stuff. If you guys have any suggestions, maybe send us a message on Instagram. We can do whatever you guys want to do. All right, have a good one, guys. See ya.